Hi, my name is Eben Pagan. I'm the founder of a program called Altitude. This program is all about teaching business owners and founders like yourself who have started businesses and have some success how to build those businesses and how to build the infrastructure and the platform to grow up to $10 million and then beyond. In this presentation, I'm going to talk to you about a concept that I call entrepreneur held hostage and entrepreneur set free. Would you believe that most entrepreneurs who start businesses wind up being held hostage by the businesses that they start? How ironic, huh? When we get into business, why do we start business? Why do we get into business in the first place? Well, if you ask 100 entrepreneurs, why did you start a business? Why did you found your own business? Why did you launch your own company? 99 out of the 100 of them are going to say the same thing. It might be different words to describe it, but it's one core idea. We all wanted freedom. We wanted to be set free. We didn't want to work for a boss. We didn't want to have someone telling us what to do. We didn't want to have our time controlled by another person. Well, how much more ironic is it that those businesses that we started to set us free can actually wind up holding us hostage? So let me talk to you about some of the ways that entrepreneurs get held hostage by their business, and more importantly, let me tell you about some of the ideas that entrepreneurs do to set themselves free and to set up their businesses so that it gives them more freedom and more life, and it actually launches them into the personal life that they've always wanted. Several years ago, I watched a video by Michael Gerber, who was the author of the great book, The E-Myth. And he said in there that 80% of all small businesses fail within the first 5 years, and 80% of the ones that live fail within the next 5 years. So 96% of them fail. But then he said, what was the shocker? He said, but that's not the tragedy. The tragedy is the ones that survive. Because the ones that survive usually trap the owner and suck all the life out of them. All right? You've known these kinds of people. You've probably been this kind of person. I know I have. Where you wind up trapped by administrivia. Things, the details that are just driving you crazy. People that won't do their jobs, that waste your time. Customers that, call you all the time and nag you. Systems that are unstable. Just unpredictability in every way. You wind up getting trapped by your business. So the question is, how does this happen? How does a business go from startup and startup success to the point where over years it grows into a prison for the owner? Well, here are a few ways. There are obviously dozens of ways that businesses turn into prisons for their founders. And we don't have time to talk about all of them, but let me talk about a few of the biggest ones that you can avoid that will really, really make a difference in your future. So number one is a concept that I call the guardian of the black box. The guardian of the black box. And what is a black box, right? A black box is a complex system that runs and you don't know how it works. Someone else knows how it works. So a lot of business owners, when they start running into challenges, let's say technologically, what they do is they hire a technology person and they say, okay, you figure this technology problem out. And by the way, I've seen this one with my own eyes more than a few times. The technology person, who is usually inexperienced, who doesn't really know technology as well as they said they did, whatever, they go find a software and a hardware solution that's that's very esoteric, that not many people know about, and they take it and they implement it in the business. And then the business grows up around the technology solution over years. And then when there's a problem or a hiccup with the person, the entrepreneur, the founder, the boss comes in and says, okay, it's time for you to leave. I need to fire you. And what does the guardian of the black box say? You can't fire me because I'm the only one who knows how this whole system works. Ooh. Or what about, I have a friend that I worked with several years ago who had someone managing his business and all of his cash flow. And they were in charge of everything. And it got to the point where he didn't even know how the cash inside of his own business was being managed. He couldn't control it because someone else was running it. And he couldn't fire the person because he had no way to take control of it, right? That's a very tough situation to be in. So what I'd like you to do right now is make a commitment to yourself: no black boxes and no guardians of black boxes inside your business. A simple way to avoid having black boxes and guardians of black boxes is to kind of take a simple mindset. When you run into a challenge in business, financial, technological, legal, whatever they are, and you're going to run into them as your business grows, and you're going to bring in someone from the outside to implement a solution make sure that you take the time to go learn a little bit about the solution that they're going to implement so that you have at least the ability to log in, to check into it, to see the reporting that's coming out of it, to control it if you need to. And if you're not willing to take that step, then one fail-safe you can use is to hire a third-party consulting company to come in and maybe just spend an hour or two a month, and maybe you pay them a couple of $100 a month. And what they do is they learn all the updates, they learn all the systems, and you make sure that they can run it and change it if they need to should something happen to the person that's installing the system. So no more black boxes. Another way that business owners get trapped by their business, that get into the prison, that get held hostage by their business, is that they become chained to micromanagement. And micromanagement is very, very insidious. It's something that happens slowly and comes on slowly, and by the time you get kind of imprisoned by it, you don't know what to do. There's no way out. You kind of can't get out of the chains. How does the prison of micromanagement get built, and how can you avoid it? Well, there are kind of two sides to the coin. Right? One side of the coin is the entrepreneur that takes the mindset of no one can do it as good as me. Nobody will ever be able to do as good of a job as I can do. And what they do is they watch over the shoulders of their team members, and they're constantly correcting, constantly fixing, constantly taking things back and doing them themselves. Right? So that's the mindset. And the other side of the coin is hiring people that you might consider to be doers, just executors. Some people call them bean counters, somebody that just gets the job done, right? And these are typically average or below average players, by the way. And why do we do that? Well, there are a lot of reasons. Some entrepreneurs have a big ego and they're threatened by other people that have a lot of power and a lot of charisma and a lot of ability and a lot of talent. So they don't want to hire those people and, be threatened by them or, not look good in front of them. Sometimes we like to hire people that aren't that talented because we think that they'll be less expensive, which, by the way, is not true. And, there's a myriad of reasons why we hire these average people as business owners. But if you hire a bunch of average or below average players that are just bean counters or just doers, you're going to find that the other kind of thing becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, that as they do their work, they're not going to do the high-quality job that you would do, and you're going to have to step in constantly to fix things and rework things. Do that for a few years, especially in a growing business, and you will find that 80 or 90% of your time is taken up by micromanagement, and you've only got yourself to blame when you do it. So how do you avoid micromanagement? Well, the first thing is to get rid of this mindset of I'm the only one that can do a great job, and actually start asking yourself, how can I find people that will do a better job than me in this area of the business? How can I find people that are talented, specialists, that are even better than you, far better than you in that area? And then when you bring them in, make sure that you don't stand over their shoulder and correct them constantly and try to tell them what to do. Let them have some free rein. Let them run. Let them screw things up if they need to in order to learn how to do things so that they have a sense of ownership. But you have to figure out how to find talented people. In another section, I'm going to actually teach you some of the ways to find these people, how to interview them, how to make sure you get star talent. And again, like I said, it doesn't necessarily cost more. I don't care if you're hiring someone for $6 an hour or $60 an hour or $600 an hour. You can find star talent at that level, that are the best at that level, that have the attitude and the talent and the drive and the passion to be really great. You just have to know how. So, no more micromanagement. No more hiring doers, no more hiring bean counters and then getting trapped in a prison of this stuff. The third idea I want to share with you about how entrepreneurs get held hostage is actually maybe even worse than being held hostage. It's like